welcome back. You're watching Overdrive. Now, KTM brings a wide range of motorcycles to India, which makes it a very popular brand for riding enthusiasts. But it's been almost 2 years since the KTM 390 Adventure launched in India and it hasn't received an update. Well, that time has finally come. They have given the motorcycle a few small updates. Let's find out what they are.
It's easy to see why adventure motorcycles are gaining so much traction in a country like ours. Well, because they're supposed to be built to handle it all, from varying road conditions to trying weather conditions, you name it, these bikes are built for it. Now, KTM already has 4 different variations of the 390 Adventure already out in the country. This one, which we have right here with us today, this is the Adventure 390X. This is the most affordable of the 4 variants. Now we are going to be checking out the highest spec variant, which is the spoke wheel version as well, over the next couple of days. So we are going to find out how good these motorcycles actually are at what they are meant to do.
Now let's start off with the KTM 390 Adventure X. Although it's the most affordable of KTM's 390 Adventure series of bikes at this time, this one still looks identical to the standard 390 Adventure model that's already being sold out here in the country. And that's because for most part it actually is. Not only are the lights, panels and the tank the same, but parts like the split trellis frame and most importantly that brilliantly explosive 373cc liquid cooled single that puts down 43.5 PS of max power and 37 Nm of max torque, all shared between the pair. Even the seat height and curb weight is identical. So that's the best part about it. In essence, it still remains the same comfortable and powerful machine that we've come to appreciate over time. Changes in the low-end variant come in the form of firstly, the big piston fork up front and the rear monoshock, which perform very well out on road expeditions and are fine for your off-road excursions as well, but honestly not the best on offer here. Secondly, the X doesn't feature any IMU or sensors, so there's no cornering ABS, traction control or even ride modes for that matter, like with the other KTM 390 Adventure models. So the switchgear as well is a bit different. No fancy TFT screens on this one too, just the LCD unit that's been lifted off KTM's lower capacity Adventure model. Like the V variant of KTM's 390 Adventure series, which gets the same suspension setup as this bike, but not as much travel and a lower seat height, the X can be seen as a slightly more road-biased motorcycle on account of its suspension setup alone. But then again, it's still got that immense touring potential that makes this bike awesome. Another notable aspect about this bike is that unlike the standard and top-end spoke wheel models, the X gets MRF tires instead of Metzeler Touring Treads, which didn't feel as nice and grippy on rougher patches. So what did I find the X to be lacking in truth? Well, to be honest, there's really a lot to love about this machine. Still, you could say that first-timers to the segment might miss the electronics suite that give you that safety net of learning. But then again, more experienced riders might not feel the same way, but they definitely will miss having spoked wheels on there.
Now the 390 Adventure X is the most affordable of the 4 variants that KTM has on offer in the country, and it has a lot of things working in its favor. First of all, it still has the engine, the chassis, that setup which we've really come to love and appreciate over the course of time. A good amount of power, good amount of maneuverability. It's nice and light, 177 kgs, good power to weight ratio. Very nice and easy going, easy to manage. It is lacking in terms of some electronic features. Well, you don't get ride modes, you don't get the cornering ABS, none of that IMU jazz. But then again, you do get the essentials that you would like to take off-road. Like you do have a slipper clutch, you do have off-road ABS, and of course you have the ride-by-wire throttle and LED lights if that is your fancy. So there is a good amount of kit on the motorcycle and there's a lot to appreciate. But then again, if you wanted something more in terms of adjustability and configuration, well, KTM has another version of this same motorcycle that should be right up your alley.
This is the top spec KTM 390 Adventure spoked wheel variant. A motorcycle that costs around 3.6 lakh rupees ex-showroom, and it's got all the goods that KTM India fanboys have been craving for a long time. It's got all the electronics mentioned before, and yes, KTM is finally offering spoked wheels and adjustable suspension as part of the 390 Adventure package. So now that it's here, Is it finally worth the painful wait? The answer? A big, big yes. The spoke wheel variant of the 390 Adventure gets all the good stuff that you could have asked for. LED lights, adjustable levers, a slipper clutch, quick shifter, ride-by-wire throttle, even the stuff that a rider lacking some bit of confidence like cornering ABS, traction control and ride modes, it's all in there. Now if you buy a KTM machine, you are definitely expecting performance from your bike, and by Jove this one has it as well. It's as comfortable as before too, with generous seating room for 2-up and even rider plus luggage. The highlights of course of this machine are the new suspension and wheels over the standard model.
Now obviously the USP of this top spec spoke variant of the 390 Adventure has to be the open cartridge upside down fork up front, which is fully adjustable. You get 10 clicks of preload adjustment, 30 clicks of rebound and compression. The monoshock at the rear too has preload and rebound adjustments, no compression settings out there. But the major difference is with the standard variant, well, that model you had to really manage with what the bike was capable of doing. But now this machine with the current setup, well, it has the capacity to manage your particular riding style and preference. Given your terrain and your settings and whatever you want, you can configure the motorcycle and personalize it according to your fancy.
Having a customizable suspension setup means that you can get the bike to behave and react exactly the way you want to, depending on your weight, the terrain and the speed you're comfortable traveling at. Long sections of well-paved road, well, stiffen up things and stay well planted. Some lumpy sections of trail coming up, dial in some comfort settings and soften all the blows. Having the option to customize your ride on the go is always a good thing. Out on the road, on this machine, this suspension setup allows you to be more in tune with the motorcycle and not only ride but stop with better confidence too.
Now at 2,80,000 rupees, that is of course the most affordable of this bunch of motorcycles, and for that price still get a very enticing package because, well, the engine, the chassis, the suspension, more than acceptable in fact, and you will enjoy the space arrangement for the rider, the pillion, your luggage, everything. A very nice package all throughout. Now you have 4 different variants of the 390 Adventure to choose from, all catering to different preferences of riding style requirements. But then again, has it made the 390 Adventure a better all-round motorcycle? Yes, it has the top spec version because it is a fantastic tourer and it behaves just the way you want it to behave, and that is really something that you will appreciate once you get your hands on this motorcycle.
KTM India does have plans to launch many motorcycles between this year and the next, but the one we are eagerly waiting for is the KTM E-Duke, which will be powered by a 10 kilowatt motor. We will be back very shortly after this very quick break. On the other side, we'll tell you all about the Indian Supercross Racing League. Stay tuned, you're watching Overdrive.